Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Marshall live, and I am live. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how to use social media and speaking to sell more of your products, more of your services. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're an agency owner, you're a founder, you're a freaking business pro. Like literally, I don't care what you sell. If you have a product or you have a service to sell, I'm going to show you literally right now in this video how to use social media and public speaking or storytelling rather to do that. Okay. It's broken down very simple. I literally just got off a call with one of my private clients in my Top Paid Speaker Elite program. And I was looking at all this and I was getting ready to go call it a night. And I was like, you know what? I should just turn this bad boy on and go live and make some content and share with you guys this whole entire thing because this new client of mine, awesome guy, veteran, served his country for 20 years, bad man. He was an officer in the army. And he wants to learn how to help people. He's like, yo, this is what I want to do. I want to share my message. I want to share my leadership training. I want to share my knowledge and my expertise and my experience to be able to help other men transform their lives. Because he knows that men out here are struggling. That's a real thing. And if you're watching this video, whether you're a woman who's watching this video and you have a man in your life who you know is having a hard time staying committed to his word, or you're the man who's having a hard time staying committed to his word, like it's needed, right? So I'm about this guy's mission, and that's why I love getting to do what I do. So let's talk about you now. What is that product? What is that service? What is that thing that you sell? And do you have a story or a message that you want to share with the world? Because what happened for me is I had an expertise, I had a knowledge, I had a skill set. I had a skill set that I wanted to teach other people so I could make money. And I wanted to teach other people from my phone so I could work and live and make money from anywhere in the world. And that was always the objective. The problem that I ran into when I was trying to launch my coaching business is that I didn't have any clients. And so I had to make content. I had to try to get leads. Then I had to get those leads on a phone call. And then I had to try to sell those leads. And then if and when I closed those leads, I had to fulfill my service to those leads. And I had to do all of that simultaneously at the exact same time. And it was just like, it was very overwhelming. And so I knew that I wanted to work for my phone. I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to sell high ticket program. I knew I wanted to sell high ticket services, but I didn't want to like book calls and I didn't know how to get leads and I didn't know how to do all that thing. And so I'm just setting some context real quick. I'm not going to take forever, but I just want to go through this chart real quick so you understand what it looks like to be a high ticket speaker, right? Because what I realized, and people laugh when I tell them this, but this is the real honest to God truth, that how I learned the concept of what's called selling one to many. So most of you still sell one to one, which means like you drive traffic to a lead page or an opt-in page, and then they give you the email, and then they fill out the app, or they book the call, or they book the call, and then you get on a call with them, and you sell them via the phone. Or you have an appointment setter and a closer, whatever. There's still somebody that's closing your sales one by one. Totally get it. I just thought that was dumb. And I didn't want to do it that way. And honestly, like I said, when I was bartending, I had this manager. I was a bartender at downtown San Diego at a place called Gas Lamp Tavern. Awesome place. I don't know if it's still open. And I had this pain in the ass manager named Perry, who had never bartended or done anything in his life. He was a fucking realtor or something. I don't know what the fuck he was. Didn't know shit about bartending. And so at the end of the night, he would come up to me and he would tell me, he wants me to make last call, but he wants me to go around to each person individually. So he wants me to literally go leave behind the bar, which I hated doing as a bartender. So I'll go behind the bar. Hey, excuse me, it's last call. Hey, excuse me, last call. Hey, excuse me, it's last call. Like I was like, that's fucking dumb, Perry. So I just stand up on the bar and be like, hey, yo, last call for alcohol. If you want something else to drink, get your ass up here before we close out. And you know what happened? All the people that wanted an extra drink came up to me. They came running to me. And I didn't know at the time, but really that was the one to many model. And so when I got into my coaching business, I literally just learned how to use social media and public speaking and the one to many sales model to have maximum freedom to make maximum money in minimum time. And I don't say that to be scandalous or like unethical. Like I just learned how to leverage my time by using public speaking in events. And so my new client tonight was like, okay, dude, well, these are the two questions he's had. Like after everything that we've been through for these first 30 days or whatever, the two biggest questions now, this content machine is kind of up and rolling. He's making daily content right now. And we've outlined like we know the process of what it is that he's selling. Like we know what his process is and how he's going to help people and the pillars and his ethos of what he's created. And so now it's like, okay, well, what does it actually look like, Marshall? Like, what does it look like? What am I selling? How am I gaining these new followers, like these new members? And what does it even look like? What am I actually selling? And so that's what this whole thing was about tonight. And so I had to set some context for them. And so none of this was here when I was building it out. So we're just going to move through it part by part. So understand that high ticket speaking is different than just regular speaking. Okay. Most people think of speakers. I go out and I find gigs and I get booked and they pay me a fee and I show up and I do all the things and I talk about how awesome everything I know is and how it'll change you. And then they go off, right? You sell your book and all things. That's what most people think that speaking is. And although that's one of the things that speaking can be, that is like dangerously archaic and literally almost laughable. If that's still how you view public speaking in 2024. Like everybody's on video, everybody's making reels. Like if you don't understand or you're not good at public speaking, like actually don't even let's not even listen to what I'm saying. Warren Buffett himself has said publicly numerous times that your inability to public speak can end up being the downfall of your company, of a lot of leaders, their inability to understand how to communicate in a public setting. Like that's crazy. He's further said that he believes the most valuable education or the most valuable certificate, the most valuable thing he's ever invested in was in the Dale Carnegie course on public speaking. He literally says that's the only plaque that he had hanging on his wall, right? And so I'm not just telling you guys like this for me. I'm telling you guys, listen, understanding what I'm going to share with you here in a second, it doesn't matter if you want to speak or not. In the mobile, digital, virtual world, your inability to convey communication through storytelling is going to be your downfall, 100%. So let's get back to my client. So now we know who it is that he wants to impact. And we know he doesn't want to get on sales calls every freaking day, sales calls, sales calls. He knows he doesn't want to build a business where he has to pay a team. He's like, I want a lean team and I want to do it myself. And I want to stay, like I want to be able to move around. I'm like, I totally get it. That's how my business is set up. That's why I'm a high ticket speaker. Instead of doing high ticket sales calls, I do high ticket enrollment events. And I'll explain that in 1 second because I spend the entire month educating you guys, sharing my life, sharing my stories, and then once a month I'm like, hey, by the way, if you want to learn every single thing I know about the business of speaking and how to get paid to speak, then just go join me for my virtual event and I'll teach you everything I know for free. Sound cool? And then the people who want to learn that shit show up to the virtual event all at the same time. And I teach them all at the same time. At the very end, I go say, listen, you can take this and you can steal it and you can use it for your own. And if you do, please go win and go win hard and go help people. But for those of you who are on this training right now and you know that you definitely want to do this and that you can do this, but that you might need some support, some accountability, some guidance, and you want to join me inside a top paid speaker, this is what I want you to do next. Okay, so do you understand what I'm saying here? Like I'm just making my sales call to one person, one type of person, to all of them at one time, once a month. And so I only spend 1 day a month enrolling new clients or every 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever your cycle ends up being, which really the variable is just leads. You can literally do one every week if you had the leads. You can do multiple a week if you had the leads. Point being is that understanding how to become a high ticket speaker is essential if you're going to grow your business in 2024 and actually stand out. That is the separator. Okay, so to my client, this is what I had to explain to him about. Okay, Marshall, cool. We know what we're doing. Like, how am I going to get new clients? I'm like, first off, what we have to do is we have to create an attractive character. Okay, this is a term that I learned from. I know I'm backwards, so just bear with me. You guys are all smart watching me on Facebook. This isn't like TikTok or something. Never mind. I'm not gonna get off track. My thing as a leader is I always want to teach what I'm doing. And when I catch myself doing it in the moment, I want to teach you, but then we get off track topic. So I'm not going to teach you us versus them right now, but just know that I'm NLPing the shit out of you as I'm doing this and I can't even help it. Okay. Okay. So, attractive character. I learned this from Russell Brunson. So it's not my original term, but what I wanted to do with myself and with my speakers is I wanted to create myself as an attractive character, somebody that people were naturally attracted to. They wanted to be like, they wanted to do these things. And so I first, and this goes without saying, I know you guys know this, but I had to build myself into that attractive character and I do every day. Now, with that being said, I leverage social media to highlight this attractive character online, this man I'm becoming that I'm proud of, the things that I'm doing. And that way, the old version of Marshall, which some other people may want to too, and that's awesome, but My life is dedicated to helping the old version of me. And if you guys focus your business on helping the older version of you and you gave without expectation in everything you do, you would watch your business, your income, your impact, you'd watch everything skyrocket so much faster. So the number one thing that I'm trying to do with myself and my clients, I want to create them as the attractive character. So in order to do the attractive character, what I'm going to do is something I learned from a friend of mine named Mark Lack, and he told me to create a topic wheel. So here in this topic wheel, I have 5 different topics. These 5 different topics are the frame. I'm going to break this all down in 1 second. These 5 topics are the frames that I'm going to talk through. These are the frames that my attractive character is going to talk through. So when I say a frame, I'm just saying, yo, I want to use a frame. I want to control your frame of mind by studying the frame so you can only think and see one thing. I don't want you looking all over the place. I want you right here inside of this frame. And so I can use and I'll explain that in 1 second. I can use these frames to tell stories as my attractive character. Does that make sense? If that does, give me a like, give me a love. Let me know that you get this. I don't care if you're on live or on replay. Let me know if this makes sense. Okay, so before we get to, okay, Marshall, well, how do I come up with the topics? Let's talk about storytelling for a second. Okay, but not just storytelling. Let's talk about storytelling that influences people. Let's talk about storytelling. Oh, what's up, Bryce? Dude, Bryce McKinley. I have not done a live whiteboard training in the studio since probably what, June or July of 2019. This is literally the Marshall Live comeback. I don't know why. God just told me this was the time for it. So here we are going live again. Bryce, you were there the first time that I built $1 million business with my live phone and whiteboard trainings. I'm excited to have you here again for the ride. And if you're tuning into this and you weren't around for the first time, bro, you're in for a treat because now I know what I'm doing. And if you were around the first time, watch how good this time is. I digress. Okay, back to storytelling. So let's talk about storytelling. I'm talking about storytelling in a way that influences people. Billie Jean calls it how to tell stories that sell a lot of anything. Cole Hatter calls it visible selling. One of my other mentors says selling without selling. Whatever you want to call it, this formula, although it doesn't have to be exactly rigid all the time, this formula is the formula on how to get people to take action. So let's cover it. First part, hook, problem, story, solution. The fact that you think that you can only get paid to speak from stage is ridiculous. I remember when I first started out getting paid to speak, nobody booked me, so I couldn't get paid to speak. That's when I had to figure out a different way. I had a message that was so important I had to get out the world that I couldn't be stopped. That's when I realized that I could build my own platforms from my own social media stages, and I could then speak my message and sell my programs with my storytelling, whatever, right? Like hook, problem, story, solution. It's off the cuff, but you guys get the point. I don't want to pour too much on you guys because this is just a video I'm sharing off the cuff. And I talk fast and so it can be overwhelming. So literally you might want to save this video so you can come back to it because I just have to share this with you. I'm going to give you the whole fucking secret to everything I do right now. Okay. So the most important thing that I do with my clients, the first thing is we get clear on the demographic. So who's the one person whose life they can change. Okay. So remember, if you've overcome something and, or if you've helped somebody else overcome something, then you're qualified to teach other people how to do that. I'm not saying that if you haven't made $1 million, you should you should claim to teach other people to do that just based on concept because you shouldn't fucking do that. Okay. That's scandalous and that's not integritous. Is that a word? But point being is that if something you've overcome and or help somebody else overcome, then you are qualified to teach on that. Okay. So when I'm very clear with my clients on who that person is, the customer avatar they're going to teach, you should know that at any given time, there's 3 objections that our ideal client is going to have to buying from us at any given time. 3 objections. If you don't get anything from this entire video, this one thing about these 3 things are the things that you need the most. I promise you. I promise you this is going to make the biggest difference. This is the ultimate sales hack. It makes content, everything you do from here so much easier. Once you're crystal clear on who the avatar is, there's 3 objections they're having. The first objection is they object to the vehicle and or strategy, whatever you want to call it, vehicle strategy. They object to the strategy you're using. The second objection they have is an internal objection about themselves. And the third objection they're having is an external objection about the circumstances around them. So what I mean is this. Let's apply it to top paid speaker. The vehicle objection or the strategy objection they're having right now is they don't believe that speaking for free will work for them. They don't get it. They don't believe that speaking for free will work for them. They want to be booked and paid to speak. Okay, so objection number one, they object to the vehicle, which is platform speaking or a hybrid that I created called high ticket speaking. The second thing, internal objection. Okay, they believe that high ticket speaking could work for them, it could work, but it won't work for them. It won't work for them for whatever reason. They're unworthy, they're not good enough, whatever, whatever. The third objection is external objection. Okay, I understand that high ticket speaking could work, and I do believe that it would work for me, and I want to do it, but I can't do it right now because, and then whatever, money, time, location, relationship, whatever, whatever, whatever. So if you understand who your ideal client is, and you understand the three biggest objections that they have in their life, okay, if you understand those three biggest objections that they have in their life, then you can literally overcome anything, any doubt that they have, because now you can literally just tell a story, hook, problem, story, solution that proves to them that that objection they have is not valid. Does that make sense? So if I'm doing a webinar, if I'm creating a webinar, I always do three secrets. I don't do five things. I don't do the one thing. I always do three things. And my speakers, I teach them to do three things. The three keys, the three secrets, the three myths, the three biggest lies, the three things you're missing, the three things, whatever. And the three things, guess what, are just stories that are overcoming their objection. So if you go through like one of my signature events, $1 Million Speaker Secrets, the three secrets that you're going to learn is how to get rich speaking for free. Okay, so I use that session to overcome your doubt about speaking for free. Okay, the second one is how to tell stories that sell a lot of anything. And that's one I prove to you that your mess is your message and that it's God's purpose for you to use that test that you went through as a testimony to further the collective consciousness. That's why you're already qualified to be speaking. And I mean that to every single one of you that are listening and watching this right now. Like, you are fucking qualified to be speaking. You just don't know how to do it. You want to, so you don't. And then you make up some fucking excuse and then you just keep doing the money making thing that you're doing. And then another friend of yours kills themselves and you cry about it and you feel bad about it. And you go right back to doing the same fucking thing. And you don't share your message and you don't get it out there. And I'm not trying to be harsh, but damn, like, I'm just tired of seeing people killing themselves when I know you guys have the capability to share your stories and your messages vulnerably and powerfully in a way that educates, empowers, and gives people permission. And we're not doing it. So I'm passionate about it. I can't help it. So anyways, let's get back to the speaking part. So let's say now that I'm hosting an event, okay? The first session I'm having is what I say it was, how to get rich speaking for free, overcoming vehicle objection. Second story I'm telling is how to tell stories that sell a lot of anything, overcoming internal objection. Third story I'm telling is what I would do if I lost everything, okay? What's ironic about that is the third session I've always taught is what I would do if I lost everything. And I so naively and probably almost egotistically thought I would never lose everything. And you guys know in 2019, I lost everything, self-sabotage, and I didn't relaunch my business until about a year and a half ago. So this is like the restart, right? And so it's ironic and also awesome at the same time because I did fucking lose everything. This is exactly what I did over the last year and a half. And it's how we closed over 150 grand organically, literally from my phone in a fucking cabin that was like $800 a month shithole that we survived in until we just moved into this new place. I got the studio, like making it fucking work, calling my shot, do it. And that's not about me. This is my story, but it's not a story about me. This is a story about you because you all have the excuses about why you can't start your speaking career, but you sell something, you have a service, you're an expert at something. Like, what are we talking about? Did you overcome something? Have you always fucking survived? Did everybody count you out? And when they did, you're like, nope, and you went and won? Then guess what? You should be fucking teaching and leading and telling stories and helping other people. Like, I'm passionate about this, you guys. My best friend killed himself and I had an opportunity to change it. Like, I don't know. Like, that's what this whole thing has always been about. So anyways, okay. So it doesn't matter, like, if that's the webinar I'm doing, these are the three big secrets and those are the three secrets I'm telling. Now, the whole webinar then in and of itself, remember, being a high ticket speaker it's advanced shit. That's why I have a year-long program that people go through just to start to understand how to do this because there's so many layers to it. You can start making money speaking and getting paid to speak within 30 days. Like I've shown my clients how to do that. But I just want you to know that to be really start to master high ticket speaking, there's layers to it. So when I make a presentation or a webinar, I start from the inside and I work myself out. Okay. So I figure out first, what is it I'm trying to sell at the end of this? And then what are the three things I'm going to overcome based on that framework? And I work my way out. But just know that, okay, I have the secret. So session or secret number one, hook problem story solution. Secret number two, hook problem story solution. Secret number three, hook problem story solution. But then the whole webinar in and of itself is hook story problem solution. Okay. Last thing, then back to this, and then we'll end this session. Okay. Last thing is this. That webinar could just as easily be the same thing. Just think of it as like almost like putty or like an accordion. I couldn't think of what that term was. Think of it almost like that, micro macro. Okay, so we're talking about a 1 hour webinar, but what if it was a 3 day virtual event? What if it was a 5 day challenge? What if it was a 7 day retreat? Okay. It doesn't matter. It's always the three objections. It's always hook problem story solution. That's it. Stick to that format. It doesn't matter if it's an event, virtual, live, retreat. It does not matter. If you have a podcast, you should be fucking asking your guests questions in a way that's going to get them to follow this format because that's what's going to transform your listeners. That's what creates persuasion, and that's what gets people to buy your shit. So many people have watched me for years and they get so mad at me because they're like, this guy's a fucking hack. And I'm like, I'm not a hack. I'm honest. I have a fucking skill and I do things my way. And it bothers you because I do it simple and I make it work and I make a lot of money doing it. And meanwhile, you're wasting all of your fucking time spinning your wheels, doing all the things. And I'm not trying to talk down to you. I'm trying to get you to go, bro, what the fuck? When is enough enough? What else do you need to know? You want to be a speaker? Then go live every day. Go live once a week. Do something. Teach something. Create space. So anyways, let's get to that because people go, okay, Marshall, what am I supposed to talk about? That's what my client wanted to know. So first we had to talk about, okay, well, this is how you tell a story. You got that? He goes, okay, I got that. Then it was like, now we create a topic wheel. Okay, so let's you and I create a topic wheel right now. Again, if you haven't saved this video yet, you need to make sure you save this video because you're going to want to come back and learn more about this. Grab a notebook, and this is what you're going to do. This is a great exercise that everybody should do anyways, but this is how you're going to fill out your topic wheel and make content that attracts your ideal client and sells your product without selling, okay? So you're going to close your eyes, and I want you to ask yourself, 12 months from now, what do you look like ideally? How do you be? How do you show up? When you wake up in the morning, what's your day like? How are you moving through it? Like, let's say whatever the next level of income is for you. But for a lot of you, let's just say that 12 months from now, you wake up, you have absolutely no debt. All of your debt is completely paid off and you have $100,000 liquid cash in the bank because that's not that far fetched. Like that really can happen really quick, definitely faster than 12 months. But let's just say for this exercise, 12 months from now, you're becoming the ideal version of yourself. You're speaking, you're leading, you're coaching, you're training, you're writing that book, you're doing your TED Talk. Your debt is 100% paid off. You've worked so hard. Your coaching program's crushing it. You have $100,000 liquid cash. Okay, you with me? You're that person. Okay, so now if you're that person, what are the things that you would do every single day of your life? What are the 5 things that that person would do? What are the 5 most important things that that person's aware of? I asked my client this. My client said, number one thing he said, well, first thing is my girl wouldn't have to go to work anymore. She would be free to do whatever she wants, start her own business, come and go. She pleased, I would provide for her. Said next thing is I would have like a cabin out in the woods in the mountains somewhere. I won't disclose the location. He said I would be able to make money from anywhere. I'd be able to work anywhere. I'd be able to help people from anywhere in the world from my phone. So make money online. And he said, and I know this sounds silly, and he already paid me like a lot of money, right? So it's funny when my clients join me, I always stop and constantly remind them that in here, we get to pretend that you are whoever the fuck you say you are, because out there, there's enough doubt. So I had to stop him because he's like, I know this sounds silly. And I'm like, bro, time out. You already know it. Here the game you're playing. So like, talk to me like it's happened, right? He's like, I see myself on stage and people are chanting something. Remember, this is a 20-year vet, somebody that's led warrior men as a living, as a career, right? I'm like, bro, that's happening. And the fifth thing that we filled in is just something I know from talking about him. He loves motorcycles and cars, like obsessed with them, fucking loves them, or they're his life. He loves to go fast, like loves that shit. Perfect. So now we just have these 5 topics that we just filled in the topic wheel. Now tell me this. This is the attractive character that we're going to create. If you haven't read the book by Todd Herman called Alter Ego, you should. I met him. I used to be part of Billy Jean's marketing's mastermind when I lived in San Diego, and we went to his office like every Wednesday, and he'd bring people in, and it was awesome. And Todd Herman was one of them. He talked about his book he just released called Alter Ego. I went home that afternoon, so I had been struggling with like making content and trying to find my voice. And that's the day that Marshall Live was born. And Marshall Live was the dude who was able to become the top paid speaker and be that, right? So that is a real thing. But anyways, if you are having trouble coming up with the attractive character thing, then I recommend Todd Herman's Alter Ego. But back to this. So we want to create this attractive character. What we're going to talk about in our content that we make is speakers speak, right? Like that's what speakers do. Is there a time and place to speak, be booked and speak on stage? Absolutely. But there's also a time that if you are a high ticket speaker, your weapon to help the world is your speech, is speaking. So speak daily, speak often. That's why I'm going to start going live every day again, right? So now he has these 5 topics. These are the frames that he's going to talk through. And he's going to use hook, problem, story, solution to talk through these frames. So for example, maybe he's changing the spark plugs in one of his motorcycle, and it makes him think of a mentor that he had and how frustrated he was the first time he couldn't think about it, but then his dad showed him how, or something like this. And he can take that story and relate that story back to what the audience is going through. Like, hey, listen, if there's something that you just are busting your knuckles up on right now and you're stuck on, then maybe you need to find a mentor. And I understand a lot of you didn't have dads like I did. That's why I created this program, where I help mentor you through the process of getting unstuck, finding confidence, building resilience, and becoming the most, purpose-driven version of yourself that God intends you to be, like something like that. So if we know where we're going to take our ideal client, which is to our program, and I'll get to that in 1 second. If we know where we're going to take them, then we can use this formula and talk through frames that specifically dispel one of the 3 objections that they are unconsciously having and or consciously having at any given time about working with you, buying your product, investing in your service. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Okay. So the second part of his question was, okay, Marshall, what am I selling? So I said, okay, bro, let's take a pause from what we were just talking about. Talk about this. This is a web page, an app. It's whatever. This could be school.com. This could be circle.com. This could be kajabi.com. This could be thinkific.com. This could be clickfunnels.com, stand.com, stand.store, whatever, right? Point being is that what you are selling as a coach is the access to this private platform, whatever software you want to use. Okay. That doesn't matter. For this conversation, this is it. Inside of this thing, you have the recorded videos of the step-by-step coaching process that gets your clients from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4, right? So like when you invest in top paid speaker, it doesn't matter if you're, and I'll explain this in a second. It doesn't matter if you're low ticket, mid ticket, or high ticket. All levels of top paid speaker have access to the success path. The success path is a series of step-by-step videos that walks a brand new person step by step exactly how to build out their top paid speaker brand and how to make their own content and do all of this. And so it's called the success path. So the success path is inside of my program, right? Okay, cool. Well, I also run a monthly masterclass, which happens once a week. I also run a backstage pass, which once a month. So week 1, week 2, backstage pass, where I just show them a funnel or something I'm doing. Like I show them behind the scenes and how it works and how it's working. And then I'll do like a speaker makeover once a week. So what I'm saying is inside of this exclusive platform, I'm doing a live training once a week. But as the program's set up, it's positioned like monthly. So it's like when you sign up for top paid speaker, you get access to the success path. You get access to the monthly masterclass. You get access to top paid speaker makeover. You get access to backstage pass. And I'm just doing a live weekly training. It's 1 hour a week inside of this platform. I'm leveraging my time and it's ongoing. So it's monthly recurring revenue. So this is what we're selling. Your process of how you get clients results, whatever it is, broken down in video form. I learned this from Russell Brunson, and I'm implementing this now, this go around, a members only podcast where like you translate your course videos into audio, and then you upload them to Spotify and iTunes like you would any podcast, and then people can listen to them on the go because that's such a natural thing. I thought that was so genius. But point being, back to this, you can run challenges out of this. This is what you're selling. Okay, you guys got that. You're smart. My program and the way I design my clients' programs, and I would recommend you too, is I would do monthly recurring revenue, which is like a membership program, and you would have a low ticket, mid ticket, and high ticket. Okay. Um, Now, what we're doing is we're going to we're going to build out these platforms. For the sake of this conversation, these platforms were social media, virtual events, podcasts, and live events. So my attractive character, as you see, I've built this attractive character who can tell stories and can talk through frames, and he knows who he's talking to and how to talk to him. But then I had to go out and build platforms for him to speak on. Does that make sense? I know it makes sense because a speaker doesn't speak on a stage. A speaker speaks on a platform. Stages were the most common platform, but there was a time when a platform was a soapbox. Nowadays, the platforms that you have are social media. It's your mobile phones, your podcasts. You are already speakers and you guys just aren't stepping up to it, right? You don't realize the power of what you're actually doing. You are a professional speaker. Now learn to become a high ticket speaker, learning which means just closing deals from your speaking. Okay. So my attractive character speaks at does these platforms. I always start my clients with first social media, then we'll do either a virtual event or a podcast. This virtual event can also be a challenge. It's just a live virtual event, right? So a lot of my clients will end up being a challenge. If you're in the coaching, consulting, speaking space, probably a virtual event. Okay. So you need to build out your social media platform first, and then so on and so forth. Virtual event, podcast, live event. All that being said, all I've done to get paid to speak, help people, work from anywhere, make money, the same thing I teach my clients, build the attractive character, which is this, build the platforms for your attractive character to stand on, tell your story from that platform, which creates traffic, and then drive the traffic through your offers, marketing offers, which can be virtual events, challenges, lead magnets, paid advertising, collaborations, all kinds of shit, right? But you drive that traffic to your low ticket, mid ticket, and or high ticket price, and this is what you're selling. I hope that helps out. I love you guys. I'll talk soon.